If you're listening to this now, then AI will likely impact your work even more in the coming year. I know it sounds like a lot of hype, but earlier this week, I sent out this article. What's your future with AI? Because some people are still uncertain. And they ask the question, do I really need to be concerned with AI? Well, first of all, you should consider what AI can do now and what it can do soon. So, as far as what it can do now, think of it as a magical mimic. But it's not just mimicking you, it's mimicking anything and everything that has been captured, whether it's on the internet or recorded in video or audio. And that means any kind of response can be captured, synthesized, and refined to provide the best possible response based on what it was asked to do. So, with that in mind, what might AI be able to do soon? Now, I've had the opportunity to see kind of behind the scenes with the training of agentic AI. And what's coming next is anything that's procedural, has steps in it that you can explain to somebody else. Well, those steps are being explained to AI agents now. And these could be complex steps in finance, legal, healthcare, project management, coaching. There's just a wide variety of things that these agents are being trained on right now, and very sophisticated tasks as well. So think of the example of a project manager who's looking at a range of tasks across a very complex project or a series of projects and trying to get a sense of what tasks are behind or what tasks are ahead, where are we having a cost overrun, and who needs to be informed. An agent can do that kind of analysis and report to the appropriate people. So it might be the team, it might be the project manager, it might be the stakeholders that are paying the bills. And all this will soon be automated. So look at it this way. As a project manager, you might go, well, but if the AI agent is doing all of that, what can I do? Perhaps you can create new processes, new ways of analyzing your budgets, your schedules, your tasks, the work that's incoming, how the work gets handed off. All those things that you normally didn't have time to do and do some research and really create something new, you'll have that opportunity soon. But is that all that AI will do soon? Well, AI is also being applied to respond to some of the challenges that we all struggle with a little bit. So, for instance, empathy. And you might go, AI can't be empathetic. Well, no, it can't. It doesn't understand empathy, but it knows what's been written, what's been recorded about empathy, and it can mimic that back. And yes, there's still problems like bias. If there's bias on the internet, and we know there is, then it's been captured in large language models. And so we have to watch for that bias. And with some of the improvements we're seeing in that tuning and training of these large language models, we are finding out that sometimes the AIs can generate fairly empathetic responses. Now, are they always appreciated? Possibly not. So as we see in this study here, some that found out that they were conversing and getting those empathetic responses from an AI felt less heard. So we still want that human connection. We still want to make sure we are receiving that empathy from a human being. So in this study, we saw that the responses were from an AI were considered to be more compassionate, and in some cases, even more so than people who were trained in expert crisis response. Now, is this always going to be true? Possibly not. I'm not saying it's going to replace coaches and counselors, psychiatrists and psychologists, or emergency crisis responders. But there are some situations where maybe one's not available that they can provide that. And you might think, okay, this is just research. Well, no, there's actually tools out there now in the commercial space that are providing emotional and empathetic coaching to different roles. So this is a tool that coaches salespeople in real time as it listens in on the conversation with a potential customer. It starts prompting the salesperson to suggest different topics to approach or to listen for certain things in an empathetic way. Or do you need to have your team more synchronized? Just by listening in on a conversation in a meeting, how synchronized is your team? And what might be the next right step? What are some other things you can do to help with that synchronization? So we're looking at these tools to help enhance some of our roles. So think of the project manager again who might struggle with understanding some of the interpersonal dynamics on their team. Could these tools potentially help that project manager? Possibly. And there's some pitfalls as well. As we've seen from those roles that have been exploring more of this faster, such as programming, in this case, this particular person was trying to create a new way of using their contact database. Well, the AI decided, oh, the database hasn't been touched in 2 weeks, so I'm just going to delete it. These are some of the things we have to watch out for. So there's still extensive testing. There's still expertise and monitoring that needs to be considered as we apply these. But think of it as these tools get introduced over the next year, how can they take things off your plate and not take away your plate? I'm Mark Kilby, and I help leaders balance technology with teams to reach those bigger goals. Hope this helps.